Previously on the last class, we learned about the French revolutions and Napoleon Bonaparte. Yesterday's assignment was the Napoleon Jamboard. Today's lesson is about the other revolutions and reforms in Europe. Keep in mind the essential question, what are the challenges to diversity? The first topic, did the French revolutions inspire other Europeans? The answer is yes. Belgium and Holland are small countries near France with whom they did not get along, so they wanted to prevent France from expanding influence, since most humans want to be independent from others. Belgium and Holland had enough diversity to create conflict because of different languages, religions, and interests. By 1830, Belgium was protesting for independence, and their friend Britain supported it, mostly because Britain didn't get along with France, so the enemy of your enemy is your friend. These two small countries stayed neutral in other European conflicts as much as possible. The other side of Europe was Poland, but over many years it had been divided among neighbors multiple times. Russia, Austria, and Prussia, which is now mostly Germany and some others, kept taking over Polish land. But Polish people wanted to be independent, have new property rights, and ban slavery. And it makes sense because foreigners kept taking their land already. In 1830, a nationalist revolt was not enough to push out the Russians. It was a brutal time, so many Polish fled for safety in Western Europe and the U.S. Second topic, was France stable after their first revolution? The short answer is no. The revolution didn't exactly pan out the way many French people expected. First of all, there was a widespread discontent after 1799 when the traditional monarchy was removed. This was because Napoleon, as the leader of the revolution that said was for liberty and equality, actually made himself as powerful as a king and definitely acted like one. There was also a recession economically because so much money had been spent by previous kings and the revolution had caused a lot of property destruction. Although the profits made during the industrial era had helped soften the recession blow just a little bit, but all of this bubbled into the February days of 1848, which was a violent reaction when public meetings were banned to keep people from reorganizing into another revolution. It got so violent that the King of France, remember the original revolution was supposed to get rid of kings, but it didn't really, this king ran away to save himself. Without a leader present locally, the liberals, radicals, and socialists claimed that they were in charge then and formed what they called the Second Republic. They were going to try to form a better government and a new society. But equality offended some people, especially the upper and middle class that traditionally had power already. They were not happy about sharing power with poor people, so the wealthy launched their own violent counterattacks, called June Days, in the same year. Eventually, the Second Republic group created a constitution that was really similar to the U.S. It had a president, not a king, a legislature to vote on decisions, and all men could vote. Women's voting rights were still many years away, but equal voting for men, regardless of wealth, was a start as far as the French were concerned. The person voted as president was none other than the original Napoleon's nephew, Louis. Although he claimed he supported the working class, he soon tried to make himself as powerful as his uncle had been. And he did have supporters, because some people were so wary of constant changes in government that they had preferred the monarchy version because they thought it was more stable. In fact, it had been the only method for hundreds of years before. Third topic, were there even more French-inspired revolutions in Europe? It turns out that yes, revolting in order to make a new government that was more equal for the poorer classes was becoming popular in Europe in the 1800s. Austria, Italy, and Germany had their own revolutions. They did not want kings with absolute power. They wanted land opportunities, and they wanted an identity based on their country, culture, and religion. The 1800s in Europe were active. By 1850, there had been 60 years of rebellions, but the revolutionaries did not have enough support to keep government methods stable. Part of that was because the rebels didn't agree with each other, so that muddles a stable message. The liberals wanted moderate changes over a slow period, nothing too fast or wild. But the workers definitely wanted quick change now because they had the most to gain from that. Those in power were also quick to use force to brutally crush challenges to their power through arrest, kidnappings, and death. Those who have the weapons can enforce the rules. This image here is a political cartoon that demonstrates the upheaval in Europe with your recognizable leaders fighting each other. Your assignment today is to use the textbooks, hardbooks, or digital Savas books or internet searches to identify what each side wanted during the revolutions. The worksheet has the middle class versus working class. The second part is where you explain in your own words how the Industrial Revolution affected social mobility. Did people's perspectives on revolutions change as their wealth or opportunities increased? Lastly, you will name 6 countries discussed in today's slides. When you are finished, turn in your worksheet on the teacher's desk. Lastly, your daily notes are pretty short today. Copy these into your notebook and replace your book in the correct class slot.